It is Chris. It is Tuesday, June 11th, and we are talking about the Supreme Court and Samuel Alito again. Okay, so if you have not followed this story, here's what happened. Last week, a liberal activist named Lauren Windsor went to a party that the Supreme Court justices go to. This is an annual party. At that party, I was not invited, by the way. At that party, Windsor posed as a conservative activist and recorded conversation she had with, among other people, Justice Samuel Alito. Now, let me just read to you one exchange that Windsor, again, remember, posing as a conservative activist, had with Alito, who, again, remember, is a Supreme Court justice. Okay, here it goes. Here's Windsor. I don't know that we can negotiate with the left in the way that needs to happen for the polarization to end. I think that it's a matter of like winning. Here's what Alito responded. I think you're probably right. On one side or the other is going to win. I don't know. I mean, there can be a way of working, a way of living together peacefully, but it's difficult, because there are differences on fundamental things that really can't be compromised. They really can't be compromised. So it's not like you are going to split the difference. Okay, now, a couple things. One, look, Windsor is posing as something that she's not, right? She's goading Alito through these kind of leading questions to say things, and she's secretly recording him. Okay, so she's not like a hero in this situation. That said, Alito is as I've mentioned, Supreme Court justice. The theory of the case that the Supreme Court wants us to believe is that they are neutral arbiters of the Constitution and of the law. That, yes, they are nominated by and appointed by partisans, presidents who are Republicans or Democrats, but that they ultimately don't owe fealty to those people. They don't owe loyalty to those people because they have lifetime appointments. So they're not sort of, trying to pay off being nominated to a Republican or a Democrat. This obviously is a problem when you have someone saying what Alito said. He's essentially saying, look, there are two sides of this political debate. One side has to win, and we can't compromise our views because we have fundamental differences with the other side, right? So that would suggest that there is an agenda there that goes beyond interpreting the law, that goes beyond just saying, okay, well, here's the law. Here's what we think the founders intended. Here's how it relates to the modern day, and not playing partisan politics or politics at all, right? It's very hard to square what Alito said with the idea of them being Supreme Court justice being sort of umpires who call balls and strikes, right? Not invested in who wins and who loses the game. This comes at a uniquely bad time for the court and Alito in particular, because if you followed this news or watched my videos, you know that Samuel Alito has been in the news a lot lately because his wife apparently likes to fly flags outside of their homes. So outside of their Virginia home in early January 2021, they flew an upside-down American flag, which was at the time a symbol of the Stop the Steal movement, the effort by Donald Trump to overturn the election results despite them being free and fair. And then they flew another flag at a vacation home that was also used by protesters in the Stop the Steal movement. Now, Alito has said, look, my wife likes to fly flags. This was about a personal dispute between her and a neighbor. That's all I'm saying about it. Okay, again, not great. But this story adds to his problems. I looked this up because I was wondering, I suspected that the Supreme Court had taken a hit in terms of trust and credibility with the American public, and indeed they have. So I'm just reading from my other screen. This is Gallup, which I think is the gold standard of polling. So in July 2020, okay, so about 4 years ago, 58% of the public approved of the Supreme Court and how it's handling its job, and 38% disapproved. The most recent poll that Gallup did is from September 2023, so last fall. 58% disapprove, 41% approve. So basically the streams have crossed, to quote Ghostbusters. So I think you've broadly seen a real sort of decline in trust as it relates to the Supreme Court, particularly among Democrats, particularly after the Roe v. Wade decision. Right. The overturning of Roe v. Wade, I think, for many liberals was like, that's it, the final straw. They are political, et cetera, et cetera. This will not help that. This will complicate efforts by Chief Justice John Roberts, who has long made it his goal to make the Supreme Court be above politics. It will make doing that, I would say, impossible. I was going to say virtually impossible. I would say impossible. What recourse do people have as it relates to Alito? Almost none. So a Supreme Court justice can be impeached by Congress. It's happened one time in 1805. Samuel Chase was impeached by the House but acquitted by the Senate, and he stayed on in the Supreme Court. So it's happened once, and the guy didn't even get thrown out. There's no way that the Republican-controlled House is going to impeach Samuel Alito. Even if Democrats can take control of the House and keep the Senate, which I think is unlikely in the 2024 elections, I don't think they're impeaching Samuel Alito. So there's really not much recourse, which again gets me back to a point I've made a lot about the Supreme Court. If they are lifetime appointees and they are incredibly powerful, that's a hard thing, right? Huge power, very little accountability doesn't usually go well in systems of governance. So there's that. So that's the reality that we face. This looks bad for Alito. This looks bad for the court. This will, I think, continue to erode trust in the court, and there's not a whole heck of a lot we can do about it. All right, that's it for me today. 4 things. Subscribe. Like this video. Comment on this video. Do it for the algorithm. Tell 5 people about this channel. We are growing, people. Let's get to 30,000. Thank you. Take care. Have a wonderful